Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. We're here, we're back at it again, and we're going to get on into it. But before we do, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. With that being said, here's a quick word from our sponsors. Organic herbs and botanicals, skincare and edibles, wellness for body and mind. The Brothers Apothecary. Fine teas and remedies. Ronald Records. From indie gems to classic hits, discover the heart of local music. With live shows all the time, up close and personal, and regular releases on their in-house label. Ronald Records. Supporting the community, one track at a time. All right, thank y'all so much for watching. Again, shout out The Brothers Apothecary and Ronald Records. Make sure to click the link below and check them out. Guarantee you're going to like them. With that being said, let's go ahead and get on into it. Here is today's guest.
Hi, twOn here, Tomb Offense Normalcy.
Hello.
Hey.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, honestly. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, happy to have you here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about, who you are, where you're from, what you do. Give us that Tinder profile of your involvement with music.
Okay. My name is twOn, Tomb Offense Normalcy. Currently staying in Portland, Oregon, making somewhat conscious rap, trying to step out into the community as much as I can.
Hell yeah.
Make a name for myself.
Hell yeah. Yeah. And what got you started in music initially?
Well, I actually knew a homie back where I'm from in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
He really just influenced me one of the days that he sent me a random beat. It was just like, hey, dude, do you think you could write something to this? And I was just like, maybe. And I showed it to him. And ever since that day, I've just been on the ground running.
And he was just like, you definitely can write something.
He was just like, I've been doing this for a little while, but he's just like, you need to be doing this.
Okay. So wait, had you already been kind of rapping before that, or had you never really done anything? And he was just like, let's just see if it sticks.
I mean, I kind of did, but it was mainly just like a poem here and there kind of thing. I remember writing this one verse for this rapper that I knew that went to my high school. I showed it to him, but that was probably the most verses to beats or lyrics to beats that I ever really wrote.
Interesting. Yeah. So this dude was just like, let's just see what happens, pretty much.
Yeah. No.
And it ended up sticking. That's awesome. No, that's really cool.
Well, I definitely told him that I was somewhat interested in it.
Oh, gotcha.
I had somewhat I thought it's something that I could do, but I was never anything that I put any real effort in.
So he just was like, here's an opportunity.
Yeah.
Give it an honest effort.
Yeah. Shout out Alec.
Oh yeah.
My boy.
And was anybody in your household musical, or do you have any musicians or artists in your family?
Well, I mean, not really. I grew up in a pretty, well, not a pretty religious household. We were somewhat religious, you know. But my mom was, she grew up in a family that was very religious, and everyone in that family, all the kids, know how to play an instrument, to the point where we would go to church at my uncle's church, and the drummer would be not that great, and my mom would be like, move, boy. Just start busting it out, dude. And I'd be like, yeah, that's my mama.
Damn. Okay, so it sounds like at least your mom was musical to a degree.
I bring the cadence I rap with. Maybe that's...
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
I can see it for sure. Oh yeah, no, I dig that. Yeah. And I mean, was she supportive of you wanting to do music when you got into it?
Very much so. It was something for her to get used to.
Yeah.
Of course, the stigma, I guess you can say, that comes with it. But she was fully engaged, and surprisingly enough, I don't rap about the most Christian things. So she listens to the beats.
Yeah.
The beats.
Yeah, she's there for the music.
Yeah, she's there for me being on the music. Mm-hmm. And that's about it.
I get that. Well, hey, I mean, that's a happy middle ground to meet.
It's a beautiful place to be.
Yeah. And I mean, it's cool that she at least support, it sounds understood the benefits of music to a person and let you run with that.
And she definitely knew that I was a very creative person. I used to draw a lot, and I dance as well.
Okay. So you were just performative art is kind of your bag.
It's hard for me to sit still.
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that for sure. Well, that's cool. And then we have a couple foundation questions we check in with everybody on. This first one is one we ask early. It's one we ask often, and it's definitely a crowd favorite. What was the first album you ever bought with your own money?
My first album that I ever bought. I think it would have to be 2014 Forest Hills Drives. J. Cole.
Okay.
I got into buying music pretty late. I
Yeah.
never really had like hard copies of it until I got the vinyl for that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so yours was like an actual record. Yeah. Oh, okay. That's cool.
No, because I have a record player, and I like had a friend that bought me the Damn record.
Oh, okay.
Kendrick Lamar, and I was just like, I don't have a record player for this, so I bought a record player, and then the one that I got myself, the next one was 2015.
Hell yeah.
I love that.
See, everybody, that's the secret. Don't tell people to go buy a record player. Buy them a record.
Just buy them a record.
Yeah, just buy them a record. Then the only way they can listen to it,
They don't have
buying a record player.
They don't have a choice.
Yeah. Hell yeah. No, that's rad. That's definitely a solid first album to like have obtained with your own money. And I mean, for somebody to get you a cool record to like start with it,
That's
like
what I'm
that's
saying.
in its own way.
And he knew that I made music and everything. I don't think he knew that I had a joy for vinyls in a way, like even with me not having any at that time. Like, but he was just like, "Hey, dude, I got this for you for your birthday," and I'm like,
Hell yeah.
"What?
Hell yeah.
Thank you, dude."
No, I'm a firm believer that tangible media has like a different, like it exists for more than just the music that's on it.
Oh, definitely.
Like being able to hold a piece of it, like really matters. And records are big enough that you can like experience the art properly. I think CDs kind of diminish that for a little bit. So it's cool to see it.
Definitely do.
Cool to see it coming back in a way.
Well, the funny thing is, like, I have an idea to put cassettes into rotation again, and just start putting out merch on cassette tapes.
Yeah.
And then make everybody go buy an Amtrak.
Okay.
Again,
No, yeah, I'll release it on 8 tracks instead of cassette. Oh God, that would be a vibe for
something
sure.
random like that,
Hell yeah. Hey, I support that. And then what was the first live show you ever went to that was like one you wanted to go to? So like you saw it was happening, got tickets and went to
The
it.
very first one? Same one. 2014.
Okay.
So drives.
Damn. Hey, that's
I'm a big J. Cole fan.
okay. Hey, I mean, a man of consistency. I respect that.
He's the reason why I started rapping. I know I draw a lot of influences from a lot of different people. Kendrick being one, Smino, Isaiah Rashad, like just people that are just fluent when it comes to hip hop. It's not just like one specific way. But as far as like J. Cole is what made me fall in love with rapping.
Yeah.
Like putting pen to paper bars type stuff. Like he is leagues ahead of a lot of people.
He definitely he brought something really special, I think, in a lot of his earlier stuff too.
Oh, for
kind of
sure.
like continued to like maintain that status.
One of the best storytellers you'll ever hear, honestly.
Very much
We'll
so.
stand by that any day of the week.
Very much so. Now, granted, I mean, Kendrick's up there pretty well too. Like that man.
I've had this conversation with people recently because of the whole thing.
Oh, see, you know what? Just between us, I don't think I've ever said this on the show. I haven't listened to almost any of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I stayed pretty removed from it just because. I mean, I have thoughts on the whole design of what it like actually was meant to achieve, but that's not for here or there. But yeah, somehow I stayed out of the way of all of it.
I don't really think you missed all that much.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like.
It's just Kendrick and Drake have beef, and they always have had beef.
Yep.
And J. Cole got caught in it.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
But they also, I think they respectfully let him bow out.
Yeah,
like I acknowledge that part of it. He was just like, oh wait, this isn't me. No. And they were like, nah, you're good, man. It's
like,
thanks for hanging out for a bit.
Hey, you were just literally an innocent standard, dude.
Yeah. But I mean, as an individual, Kendrick is another person to have really high in regard.
Well, that's why I tell you, I'm constantly reminded that I sound someone like Kendrick because I do draw a lot of influence in his energy that he brings from rap.
I could see that.
I think it's a beautiful way that he kind of steps into this jazz bag where he's just full expression.
Yeah.
Like not many times do you come across a rapper who is willing to hit a random high note.
Yeah.
Like throughout a beat, just because he wants to do it, just because he can hear it. He knows what it's going to sound like.
Yeah.
And then when we hear, we're like, holy shit. Like, this man is amazing. And it's like, well, yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely, his ear for the sound of music in his head is just so abstract.
Yeah.
I know it's a bit, but I love the on social media, there's that one like joke where the guy's like rapping as Kendrick and he's like, here, I want to put the sound of a giraffe whispering, but in Spanish.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, what?
Exactly,
like,
dude.
And then you say, like, you hear that and you're like, oh, Kendrick could do that.
Yeah, most definitely.
Somehow he could have a
I would be
giraffe
like-
whispering in Spanish.
I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's meant to be there.
Yeah, it's like that sounds real long neck. It must be a giraffe.
Sounds long-winded.
All right, but we won't dig into him too much. This is your interview, and we'll get back into it. But before we get into more of what you're doing in the present day, do you have a defining moment where you decided you wanted to take music more seriously?
I think it was right around the time I had moved out here with the full intent to explore a music career.
Okay.
And I figured if I can do it out here, then I can do it anywhere, essentially, you know, like farthest away from my home, farthest away from my community kind of thing. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
But the turning point, I guess you could say, is right after COVID, when I came back, because I had a bunch of older tracks that I was performing with in a showcase, and that showcase got shut down because of COVID. Unfortunately, we were going to do like a citywide tour, whatever. But when I came back from it, though, I think it clicked on me, like where like, okay, you could actually do this, because the first track that I released when I came back got me a lot of the opportunities that I had. And like that track has opened so many doors, from me getting the music video shot for it, which was my second music video I put out, but the first one that I put the full idea into, you know, like it opened that door. It opened so many different things. So like once I saw the opportunities that came from that, I was like, okay, this is something that I can definitely do. And like, I have a talent for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, damn, that's really powerful. I mean, sorry to hear about the COVID. My what I think was my best band ever that I was in got lost because of COVID. So I get it for sure.
It's tough. It's definitely tough.
It sounds like you made a moment out of it and you really got something from it.
I mean, I definitely, luckily I've just been meeting all the right people. Like I'm truly blessed in that aspect.
Well, you came to a cool place. Like I've said it many times on this show. Like the music scene here is one of the most like, I mean, diverse isn't exactly the word for it, but it's one of the most open. It's one of the most malleable, and it's one of the most understanding. Like it will kind of let you do whatever you want as long as you're not like infringing upon others. It's very accepting. It's very open. It's very like family like almost. So you can make whatever you want here.
Oh, for sure.
And it'll happen in its own way.
And there'll be a community for you.
Exactly.
Like I think that's the best thing, because I don't think I've met an artist out here that doesn't have their own community.
Yeah, very much so.
And like it's just very accepting and accommodating for artists, for sure.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Well, now let's go ahead and let's get on into you in the present day. And we're going to get a super easy one out of the way.
Okay.
How'd you pick the name?
So my full name, I'm not going to tell you my government. My full first name is Antoine. Decided that I didn't want a crazy name.
Yeah.
So I settled on twOn, but when I thought about it, like something about it just didn't sit 100% with me. So I was like, how could I make this a little bit more extra? And for the people that have been around me for a while, they know the true meaning for twOn. It's an acronym. It means to whom offends normalcy. I came across that mainly because obviously the letters, like I had to pick ones that fit the letters.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think I fit into a box necessarily. So even on my Spotify bio, I say I'm here to offend any box that you hold me in. You know, like that's my biggest thing. I can rap on topic. I can not rap on topic. I can make a song about sex. I can make a song about my mother. I can make a song about the women in my life. I can make a song about being the dopest rapper alive. You know, like it's really whatever I'm feeling. And I don't want to fit into anything. Yeah. So home offends normalcy.
I dig that.
Yeah. And that's big O shit. That's big O.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
To home, TW, big O.
Yep.
Normalcy.
There's the O in every song has got a capital there.
That's my thing.
Yep. I dig that.
It makes me so happy when people notice that. 'Cause, like, it's something simple, you know, but like, it's still like, that's my brand, you know? And I appreciate someone that notices,
Hey, I think sometimes those little things can go a long way too, just because when people see it, they get it. And then suddenly they notice and like, oh, this has been a consistency since the beginning. Like those little things just kind of go a long way. I mean, I spent a lot of time looking at a lot of people's like song names and like the choices to use capital or lowercase or things like that. Yeah. And so I definitely saw it for sure.
We're big old offensive. We go big old offensive, dude.
And then let's talk about your writing process a little bit. And we're going to break it up into chunks, but we're going to start right at the beginning. Okay. So when you get inspired, you're ready to make music. Yeah. What are some of the things you do to get a track started?
I mean, for the biggest thing for me is I have a folder in my notes called Brain Willies that I randomly have throughout the day. Like I'll think of a bar, and those are usually the bars that I use to start off my tracks, my like verse. Sometimes I'll go chorus first, just because you need to kind of like feel what the track is gonna be. But surprisingly enough, majority of my process, I guess, is really free formed. Like a lot of the beats that are on the most recent project I just released, they're YouTube beats. So it's me just scrolling through YouTube, and then if I feel it, I feel it. And it's gotten me surprisingly pretty far, you know?
I think with how accessible beats are nowadays, like there's no real wrong way to come across it.
You know, like, and I mean, a lot of the times it's just having something to talk about that day.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, that, and even from like a physical standpoint, YouTube is almost available to everybody on everything ever. Like the thousands of other apps that it takes, you got to have like a different app to even get through it.
Yeah.
But like sometimes you're just in the moment, you're like, let me just search this vibe real quick, and then there's a billion of them just categorized.
Really Isaiah Rashad type beat.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then like ways to get it. Like as soon as you find one you like,
exactly.
Like, can I get this one? Yes.
Can I buy this? And then there's a link in the description of the video. You're just like,
exactly.
Let's do this.
Exactly.
And
so, I mean,
it's very. I think that's like my favorite part about making music is how easy it is in that sense.
Yeah.
It definitely takes away. I mean, I need to learn how to make a beat one of these days.
You don't, that's the thing is you don't have to.
I don't.
You know what I mean?
Like I've had that conversation with many people.
Yeah. Like
you don't know how to do anything on the. I'm just like, dude, like.
You don't have to.
I know so many people that make beats. Why do I need to make a beat, bro?
Yeah. Why tread into waters that are already, full of people who are like able to do, and why would you want to not bring somebody up with you? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like that I think is the beauty of creation in music is like, you don't like, yes, I know there's that narrative of like, now that you're an artist, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this, you have to be that, you don't have to. And I'm not saying like you, I'm saying more to the collective you at home. Like the necessity is there if you want to.
Yeah.
But if it's at the sake of burning down the creative aspects of what you enjoy, don't do it. Just get so good at what you're doing.
I like writing music.
Yeah.
That's what I'm good at, is writing music.
Exactly. Then just crush that and beats will come. There's a million of them out there. You don't.
I mean, I'm happily now, like, I'm starting to venture out of the YouTube beats, even though I use them for practice a lot of the times. But it's just like now, since I've been able to solidify myself in a way, people are sending me.
Exactly.
And I'm just like, dude, like.
Exactly. So they know you're good at it. So they want your words.
You do on my beat.
Yeah.
And it's just like.
But also, I want to circle back to something you just said, because that's interesting, that you use YouTube beats for practice.
Yes, sir.
That's such an interesting. So like you sometimes, do you just like rap to rap so that you can have rapped in that day?
Yeah.
Just like keep it fresh?
No, I write almost every day.
That's really cool. Yeah. Like that's not an answer I hear as much on the show as I would hope to.
I feel like it should be more of a normalized thing. I mean, like it's a craft. You got to practice your craft.
Exactly. Going through the motions, I think, is an important aspect. Not always just to make something after, like the finished product isn't always the purpose.
No.
Practicing your craft comes through the 10,000 hours, so to speak.
Exactly.
And also just in the you don't know what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need to not have the commitment hiding behind it.
Oh, for sure.
Like this is
just got to let it be the freeform thing that it is.
Exactly.
That's why I won't pick a topic. I won't do anything. I'll just write.
Yeah, just let it come out.
Yeah. Take your time for yourself.
I don't talk about this a lot on the show, but when I was younger, my dad gave me the keys to his warehouse. And so me and a few buddies, we would go and jam every Monday. Like every Monday, we would just there was a drum set there, guitar there, bass there already, amps for everything. We would just show up and we would play. The only rule was you couldn't record any of it. Zero of it could be recorded.
That's a beautiful idea, dude.
Well, what was crazy is that the first couple times we played for maybe like 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like we were like, took us like 20 minutes to get into it, played for an hour and a half. We had like 20 more minutes of and then we called it. Mm-hmm. By the time we finished, like by the time we had to be done, because I was like moving and like things were, you know, life was changing.
Yeah.
We were going for like 4 to 5 hours.
Yeah.
Like just ripping into it. And when it came time for us to write our music individually, we got 10 bad ideas out before we even touched our stuff the next day. So I was writing the coolest stuff I've ever written. I was coming up with ideas so much faster. It took me less time to warm up on anything. Like you were just in it.
And if it's good, it'll stick to you.
Exactly.
And it's like, that's why I like the rule if you're not recording anything, because my ideas don't go anywhere. You know, like I'm not Lil Wayne where I could just think of anything, you know, like, at the same time, like my best ideas are stuck in my head.
Yeah.
Like, all of the best things that I've came up with, I've acted on, but it's never in that moment too.
No.
You know, like you got to give it time to become what it's supposed to be. You know, like all the tracks that I have that I released they're old tracks, you know, like they're tracks that I've had for a while because I've gone through so many. Yeah. At this point, you know, like that's why at this point I started doing TikTok, as much as I don't like being on social media like that. Fair. TikTok a little bit, where I started releasing the freestyles that I write. I won't call them freestyles because people get upset about that. Reform writing. Yeah. But I'll release some of those, you know, like where I'm just like, it kind of like, it's that moment where you're like, someone gets to see where you're at that moment, you know, like, and then when I actually release a project, they're not taken off guard. Like they're not taken by surprise. Like, oh, this guy can rap. And it's like, oh yeah, no. Yeah.
Or they've built up anticipation for you to put out a thing. Cause like you're not putting out bars, you're putting out bricks and you're slowly building up this house.
Exactly.
And then once there's something for people to go inside and check out, then you've got stuff ready there.
Exactly.
But I think, like I said, to circle back to it, the act of practicing in your craft for the sake of like developing a sharper knife to cut with when you get into the kitchen, like that's
for sure.
That's awesome. I really appreciate that.
It's a necessity. I have had a few people come up to me and they're like, "Oh, I need to start doing those freestyles," and I was like, "Then do it."
Yeah, like it's literally the most accessible option. The only thing you need is a beat and then your phone.
That's it. Yeah, like they make it so easy for us. I don't even need the piece of paper and the pencil anymore.
Well, I mean, that's half that part of a freestyle is that you do it without a pen and paper.
Yeah,
and the benefit is you did record it.
Yeah.
If there was something that was so good, you were like, damn, I wish I had kept that. You done did.
Exactly.
It was right there.
Exactly, dude.
But you also have to be okay with it not being good.
You see, like, and that's one of my things. Like, even the songs that I've put out, I don't change my lyrics a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Like, what I write in that moment is what it's going to be. I wrote it for a reason. You know, like, if it doesn't make sense to me after a little while, then maybe I might switch up a few. But like, I have lyrics in my songs currently where I'm just like, I wish I would have did something different with that. But it's just like I don't dislike that lyric any less. Yeah. I just know the next time I get an opportunity to put something better in a situation where I know before I put it out that it could be better than what it is, then I will.
Yeah.
You know, and that's
you're growing from the experience, but you're
I wouldn't know
ignoring
that
it
unless I did it. You know, like
exactly.
You have to actually do these things.
Yeah.
You know,
and let people see it.
Yeah.
That's like my biggest thing is like in the beginning, you should let people see
everything.
Like just put it all out there because you never know what's going to land even. No. Like one of my favorite groups is this duo called Chromeo. And they have this song called Mama's Boy. It's a straight up doo-wop track. Like I'm not like they're like electronic funk. And this track is just like bum boom boom bum bum boom bum boom da 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 boop. And it just and the lead guy was like, dude, I got to tell you this is a goofy track. And the other guy was like, no man, just trust me. Yeah. Just trust me. And people go crazy for this track. I've seen them live 3 times. That track is one of the hardest hitting tracks in crowd response.
It's the simple
all
ones.
3 times.
The simple ones.
Yeah.
It's the ones that you don't really think are going to be that big or like, and it's always when you're stepping out of your bag and you don't think it's going to be as good as it is. You know, like it's like I've had moments where I'm sitting there hitting a voice and I'm like, that sounds really weird. Yeah. And then I show it to someone, they're like, yo, that's my favorite part in the song. And it's like, okay, you know, like just that's the part you not fitting in a box. Exactly. Don't put yourself in a box before other people get to put you in a box. Exactly. Any sense, you know, like. Oh yeah. But getting back to the questions here. Once you get a track finished, I guess for you, because like I don't feel like you pen and paper a ton of it, but like once you have a whole track put together, so it doesn't have to be like released per se, but at least you've gotten it to where you can start practicing it. How long does it take you to get comfortable enough to perform it? I mean, it's difficult to say, because you could practice a track as many times as you want in the comfort of your own settings,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in your house where it's controlled environment, you're sitting down in a chair, you don't have to breathe that hard. But when you get on stage, it's a whole other beast. It's a whole other game. I would say the first 2 or 3 times, I'm nervous performing a track for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Even after the very first time, obviously, but like, it takes me a second before I'm confident in how I'm going to be breathing during it, how I'm going to be able to deliver it, how the people are going to respond to it in certain areas, so I can like check myself. Because you know, like the moment where people are like, ooh, when they hear like a part in a song and then it throws you off. And you're just
because that's like you haven't gotten any responses. So you're like, I've got this momentum. You got this momentum. Oh, what's that?
Well, exactly, dude. And it catches you off guard, and it's just like it puts you in a spot. So like even just getting through that song, like getting past that after the first couple of performances, it usually takes around 2 or 3. I have a track called Judas where the first time I performed it, I literally said the first line and then forgot the next 4 lines.
Oh no.
And I was like, fuck. And I was sitting there and I was just like, oh my God. And then I was just like, you know what? You know the next lyrics, dude.
Yeah.
You know the next lyrics. You know when to pick it up. And I picked it up, finished the whole song, no problem.
Yep.
And ever since that one moment of performing that song, I haven't messed up during any of the other times.
There it is.
Like it's really just the trial and error of it. So it's like, I mean, some songs I don't perform ever. And that's part of the reason why I mess up during them, or I won't feel comfortable doing it. Like you have to just do it.
Yeah. Well, and we're all people. We're gonna forget. Like
Exactly.
I've asked these questions so many times, and there's been times where I'm like, what is your like? It's just like just a 0 goes where a 1 should be, and it just everything kind of doesn't compute for a second.
It can happen to the best of us, honestly.
Yeah.
But like it's the practice.
Yeah.
It's the constant practice and realizing that everybody needs practice. At no point. I hope I never step on a stage and don't get butterflies.
Yeah.
I hope it never gets to that point where I'm just like,
this again.
This. I'm doing.
I have to do it on a Tuesday.
I want to be nervous.
Yeah.
I want to feel like I can mess this up and ruin something, because it's going to put that in me to where I'm like, you remember that one time you did mess it up and it was one of the best shows you ever had. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, you just got to realize like, it doesn't come with anything.
No. That, and don't discredit the show for the one moment. Like nobody like I've never like talked to somebody after a show and they've been like, man, everything was great except this one bar,
time, dude.
This one bar. Like
I hated it.
I knew what the words were and you didn't say them right, or I didn't even know the words, but I could tell that
I was just like
the,
off it.
The whole show was ruined for me because he messed up one time. It's a problem.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, so
you need to fix that.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's a review on your show after on your Instagram, so I was like, listen, bro, that wasn't it.
That wasn't it, dude. Whatever you were doing at that moment, fix it. I'd be like, no.
No, exactly. So I dig that for sure.
Yeah.
And then let's go ahead and talk about some of your music.
Okay.
Now, I took a moment and I listened to it.
Okay.
And like, I mean, you've got music going back to 2021 on Spotify, so that's like where I usually check out stuff. But I really like how organic sounding your beats are. Like your sound in general, your flow is really well pronounced. Your sound immediately feels familiar, which like as soon as you said it, I was like, oh, that is what the sound was. Like I could see, but like it's unique, it's identifiable. Like you didn't sound like anybody else here.
True.
You know what I mean? And like you're really expressive. You stay like. And it stays true through all of your music, because I do this thing where I start at the very beginning and then I go all the way to the what's now. Yeah. And then what's now is just a handful of things that had been through time. So I got to actually listen to a lot of them more than once even. And like I really got to appreciate it. And I like the mixtape. Like I really enjoyed it a lot. The Offensive Mixtape Volume 1, which just came out in May. Because I mean there were some tracks that weren't from your singles from before. But like I just thought it was put together really well.
Thank you.
And I do this bit where I have a personal pick of my own.
Okay.
And I went with Typical Conflict. I love that. Like it's kind of a perfect mix of all your elements. Like and then the bam right at the beginning with that first kick, just like immediately, like just like the fact that there was a word with the kick and then the beat and then like just Like it was like a sound you weren't expecting, but it was a sound, like it was all the sounds that you had been expecting by that point in the album or in the mixtape, and like it just immediately hit different, and your flow was so locked in with the beat, but you changed all these moments to the whole, like you never stood on any like one cadence or stanza for too long. It just like it kind of like flowed in and out of the experience the whole way through, which I thought was like really engaging. And really, I mean, you kind of have that all the way through. And then I do have to give honorable mention to Madden, just because it was the very first. And I usually try to never pick the first one, even when it hits, because I'm like, no, I want to let them know I listen to more. But then it was the first one on the album, and I was like,
no, there's a reason why I put it there. There's a reason why I put it there.
It's just such a quality track.
Every time. I don't like, and it's funny because that's the first track I ever released. Typical Conflict is the second track I ever released.
Oh, cool.
So, Wait, no, I don't remember. Third track I ever released. Sorry.
Hell yeah.
And POP, Typical Conflict. But
and then I have to say, Pocket Change, featuring Scooter Rogers, and shout out Scooter, not just because he was on the show, but you just like you went in on that one.
Oh yeah,
like you just brought this energy for that one, which I mean, like I said, you're very dynamic in all of your sound, but that one I think you went like big time on.
Yeah, and I don't rap like that.
It's it kind of stood out for me, but like it was a really cool track.
No, it's my favorite tracks, I guess you could say, on that would be Appetite, Pocket Change, Dwayne Johnson is a big one on mine. Of course, Typical Conflict and Madden, but just like Pocket Change and Appetite were one of those songs where I was in a bag that I'm not usually in.
Yeah.
I mean, Appetite, I sat there and I rapped like this the whole time. And I was just like, and I did the same thing with Typical Conflict, and it kind of puts you in a realm of me.
Yeah.
And it kind of allows me to jump into different bags. So it's like Typical Conflict. I'm sitting there at some point, I'm saying, one of them tripping, he's saying, and I'm all loud and shit. But it's just like, that's the energy that I put into Pocket Change. So it's just like, I like that you said that it really is just like the grand encapsulation of my work.
Yeah. It was almost like a medley of your different approaches that I heard in all the other tracks.
There was that track in Madden. Even now, I mean, I know that I got way more music. Way more music that I think surpasses both of these tracks. But at the time of me releasing them, I didn't think I was going to top them, honestly.
Damn.
Typical Conflict is...
It's a good track. It's a good track.
It's my favorite track. It's my favorite track to perform, too.
I could see that.
Because it's the one track that, like, I can get people into. Like we start out in that smooth vibe, and then by the end of it, I have you jumping.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's my favorite thing to do. It's like,
well, you just kept peppering in these moments to where like I said, there was never a moment where I could like guess what was going to happen next.
Good.
And it kept it that way the whole way. Like by the end of it, I was like, he's still doing other stuff that he was doing at the beginning of this track. Like it had that.
Like even down to me saying Peridot instead of Perido.
And it's funny because usually my question is what's your favorite track to perform? And you already had that out there, so that's perfect.
Sure. Yeah.
But now I want to talk about music that you're working on that isn't out yet. And how would you describe new music that you're working on? Like, how is it different? How is it similar? What are some elements of it? What can we look forward to with new stuff coming out?
Expect it to be way more honest. And that's
I was gonna say, like, hold on a second.
Like, no, like I really just not even just honest in the words that I'm saying, but honest in my own, like the way I create.
Yeah.
And just allowing myself to be as open as I can. I think the closest one that you guys had was Judas on this past mixtape, and that's me sitting there hitting all these high pitched voices and going from here to there, swapping. It was just like a very creative and fun process. I'm taking that and I'm putting it into the newer music.
Hell yeah!
Like it's like even down to I don't use auto-tune, and then
me neither.
For music, I'm using auto-tune a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Peppering it because I don't do it too much because I think my voice sounds pretty solid. Like I don't think it needs much. But then like there are
there's moments where you can use it as like an accent.
Exactly. Like, and there's like the energy or the picture that I'm trying to paint with the track looks better with auto-tune.
Yeah.
Like even if, because I like to say when I make music, I jump into a different bag a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I will be in an Isaiah Rashad bag. I will be in a Kid Cudi bag out of nowhere, a Kendrick bag, a J. Cole bag. And one of those tracks is a Kid Cudi bag where I'm sitting there hitting hums, like type stuff, and it's just like it's a vibe, you know. And it's like, but like that's me kind of like giving myself to my art.
Yeah,
like I'm not putting myself in a box.
No, very much so. And I mean, like I think that when you do it with like the intention of adding a layer of musicality to either like draw a point to a reference or to like as an additional effect, like you're not using it to make your voice musical. You're using it to make your musical voice have a different aspect of music on it.
Yeah, use your voice as an instrument.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like, hey, people can put effects on guitars.
Yeah.
And as long, but not everybody leaves all the effects on all of the time when they're playing guitar to like
variation
make a point.
Gets people, it's the originality of the variation that gets people to keep listening to your music. It's what that callback kind of thing is.
Exactly. That, I'm sure it's fun just every now and then to hear it and be like, oh, ooh. That hits. Like when you do something of your own music that just like it's not something you normally do and you can appreciate it instantly, like that is what makes making music fun. From the creation point.
Like it makes you fall in love with it. It makes you really, really fall in love with it because then you're sitting there thinking, oh, I wonder what I could do next time.
Exactly.
Like how could I push this envelope even more?
Exactly.
To be this full version of myself. How can I be twOn? You know, like that's. I'm still working on it.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say you're the only one that can be. No, so let us know as you find out.
One and only, and I'll always be like that.
Hell yeah! Well, thank you for sharing that. And now let's go ahead. Let's zoom out. Let's take we've dug all the way into music of yours that hasn't even come out yet.
Yeah.
But I want to take a step back and look at music as a whole.
Okay.
So, what are some of the things about either new music that's like new now, or like at least new to you music that you enjoy and you're finding like inspiration and like interest from?
I was just talking to my friend about this the other day, and honestly, it's the ladies that are in hip hop at the current moment. They are so damn just inspirational because of the way that they're taking the light of hip hop and they're putting it into something else. Because I mean, hip hop doesn't fit into a category anymore. There's so many different subgenres, you know.
Yeah.
So, but like people's ability to kind of like find their own in a situation that's like already heavily saturated, and especially when you click on a lot of ladies' music around this time, or even like back in the day, it's one kind of music, you know. So it's like people are starting to step out of that box. People are like starting to rap. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing to see. Like I love seeing someone that is confident in what they can write. Like we can hear about money, cars, and all these things only so many times, you know.
That's the truth.
So it's like for people to actually be stepping out. And I mean, not to say like I have some verses where I'm just like, oh, that's tough as fuck, and it's literally because it's a dope bar. It's like what they're doing is cool, but it's just even then, like there's just so much originality. Like ladies are revamping the game right now, like for real, and it's giving these men a reason to step up.
Yeah, very much so.
Especially in Portland too. Like, because I'm nowhere near some of the ladies that are in Portland. Like it's very impressive.
Yeah, no, I mean that's a really cool perspective to share on that. Thank you.
Of course.
Now let's go ahead and actually, we got one last question before we move into the next portion, which is all hypothetical questions.
Okay.
We've talked a lot about your experience with music, the actions, the reactions, things like that. But when it's just you and the music, one-on-one, what does music give back to you?
I would probably say just validity, calmness. You know, I'm a big advocate for therapy and just being able to write about my problems and just express them is something that I wish everyone was able to do. Like that one thing. Like if you had an outlet to express yourself to its fullest self, I think that would benefit so many different people. So that's why I really, really enjoy making music. It's always been like just me coming home. You're like, ooh, I thought about this thing all day. I'm gonna write this out. Or, ooh, I had this issue that's been stuck on my mind for a few days. Like, let's see what putting on a piece of paper will do for me. You know, like, so it's just like, I don't know, it makes me feel like a person. It makes me feel here, you know?
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Of course. Thank you for asking. That's a great question.
Now let's go ahead and let's move on to some hypothetical questions. And for these, sky's the limits. The questions are all made up, so the answers are allowed to be as well. But this first one's pretty straightforward. If you could work with any one person, the only requirement is they have to be alive. Who would you want to work with, and how would you want to work with them?
Damn. I just thought about somebody that was dead.
I know.
Right when you said that, I was
that is always the twist of the question.
Miller.
Yeah.
All day, every day. But no. One person that I would really, really, really want to work with, that I think would push me into a bag that I'm trying to get into myself, as much as I would want to work with like Kendrick or J. Cole or anybody, it would for sure be Smino.
Hell yeah.
All day, every day.
Hell yeah.
Just because he is a walking, like endless bag.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's the best thing about making music, is when you surround yourself with people that are going to push you, it makes you make more. Like, it makes you make better, and it's the practice of it and all. So it's like, if I was in the same room as him, I know my mindset wouldn't be the same.
Yeah. Well, that, and like, I think he still has a little bit to prove.
Yeah.
Like, I think when certain people get to, Kendrick and J. Cole, they could just be in cruise control forever, and people are going to love them because they have earned it. But like, and not to say Smino has not earned more than enough recognition, but like, I think that he's still kind of in this space where you're like, what is he going to do next? Like, what is going to happen next? So like, that I think is,
because he can take it in so many different directions.
Oh, easily.
That's like my favorite part about it. It's like, there's really no tying this man down.
Yeah.
You can't say that he makes music like anybody.
No.
Makes music like Smino.
Well, he also made not. You know what I mean? Like, he may just like make something that's so out there and different next to
exactly.
Like,
he could
that isn't like
30,000 and make an album
flute.
full of flutes or trumpets for all we know. And I'd be
Get
like,
this man a bassoon.
Dude, I swear, get him the cello, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sure it would be amazing, And it's just like, I just respect his artistry so much.
Oh yeah,
just from his writing, his similes, his just metaphors are just so wild.
Yeah.
They just make you think, and when things make me think, it makes me laugh, and that means that I'm just enjoying what I just heard. And like, if you can get me to enjoy what you're doing a fucking great job, dude. Like,
hell yeah. No, that's a great answer. And then subsequently, who's a local artist that you're aware of that you haven't gotten to connect with yet, but you would like to?
Oof. This one fellow, Dante the Apple. Well, Dante Thomas.
Hell yeah.
I've only met him like once or twice. I think we connected through like a homie that did one of my videos. His name's Patrick. He's dope. Check him out. But yeah, Dante has just this ability to kind of like immerse you into a world when he writes a song.
Yeah.
And it's extremely impressive. Like, I've never walked away from listening to one of his tracks where I'm just like, where was I supposed to be? I was exactly where he wanted me to be. And I left in that same spot wanting to listen to more Dante Thomas tracks. You know what I'm saying?
So no, I do. I am familiar with.
His art speaks for itself, honestly.
Hell yeah. No, that's a great answer. Yeah. And everybody, you know what to do. Add him in the comments. Let's see if we can make that happen.
Thomas, check him out.
Hell yeah.
Voice fire.
And then for this next one, like I said before, sky's the limits, and it's pretty literal in this sense. But if you could perform anywhere in the world, and you wouldn't have to worry about crowd access or building stability or power, it's guaranteed the best lineup, guaranteed the best show. And it doesn't have to be a venue. It can be anywhere, and it works in this case. Where would you want to perform?
Red Rock Canyon.
Hell yeah.
Easily.
Hell yeah.
Acoustics, crazy.
Oh, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a performance from there that wasn't good.
Like, it's like, and I wouldn't even mind doing it with no audience or anything, just empty, and it just be the performance.
Yeah.
And you click on a button, you're like, oh, I get to see this guy. Like, that would be, oof. I've never even gotten to go see it.
No, I'm in the same boat, but like, that is one of those places where it's like I said, every time I've seen something from it, whether it be like comedy, whether it be music, whether like bands, solo artists, anything, like, it just has this energy, and every seat is kind of a good seat.
Yeah.
Because it's more vertical than it is like wide or deep. Like it kind of has that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And then to wrap up the hypothetical questions, if you could get one more album from anybody, they could be alive, they could be dead, they could have not put out an album in 100 years, they could have put out an album yesterday. Who would you want an album from?
Isaiah Rashad.
Okay. Oh, just ready for it. I mean, I'm gonna agree with you on that one. Like I would love another Isaiah. Please put out another album.
Doesn't take 5. I mean, I'm not gonna say that. I'm saying I don't need 5 years.
Yeah.
I will take one whenever you want to send one.
Yeah, whenever you're ready. But please,
please.
Yeah. I support that.
The House is Burning was amazing.
Hell yeah.
The Sun's Tirade, amazing. It's just he has a knack for, once again, putting people in a space.
Mm-hmm.
Like you are listening to Isaiah Rashad.
Yeah. And you know you are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's like his voice is so iconic at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly. Like it's like Isaiah Rashad. If I could give a second answer though, because I answered that one really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Album from anybody. I would say an Outkast album.
Okay, like a proper Outkast album. Yeah.
Like Big Boy, Andre 3000, full on like ATLians type vibe. You know, like
I agree with you, but I would want it at the plot twist of all the beats they make have to incorporate Andre's flute in it somehow.
Oh,
yep.
I feel like they.
Yep.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
That was one, like, the biggest thing is, like, I thought that Andre was doing something really cool with that.
I thought, I'm still waiting for somebody to come back with, like, that as that with beats.
I'm telling you, dude, like, that's all I could think about was, like, people are going to flip this.
Yeah.
They're going to start sampling the hell out of this thing, dude. And it's just like...
just haven't heard it yet.
I'm waiting for it.
Well, hey, you know.
For it. I mean,
you said you wanted to make beats. I'm kidding.
I mean, I do, but no.
Hell yeah. All right, but with that being said, we're going to go ahead and start wrapping this up.
Okay.
What can we look forward to between, let's say, now and the end of the year?
Oh, well, I can tell you what you can look forward to by the end of the month.
Oh,
for sure. I have a show coming out. A show that I'm going to be throwing for my mixtape release. It's just going to be me in this small, intimate setting. Beers, brats, and beats. I think that's the name of the place. That's the name of the show venue. Just gonna have like a very, like I said, an intimate experience for everybody. And that's like coming up pretty soon.
Do you know when the date for that is?
That's gonna be the 27th.
Okay. I don't know if this will have come out before or after that because I don't have the schedule in my head at the moment. So either it's coming up very soon and y'all should go to it, or if it already happened, it was really good, y'all. You should have been there if you weren't.
Shouldn't have fucking missed it.
Yeah, we're prepared either way. I'm not going to edit this either. So you're going to hear both those answers, but one way or another, it's going to be facts.
Yeah, but by the end of the year, hopefully some more music, hopefully a lot more features. I'm on quite a bit of features coming out. Possible short film.
Oh, exciting.
Just maybe, like he's been talking to me a little bit. Multiple music videos. Just a lot of creative things, as many as I can. Hopefully I could even get a little touch on merch by the end of the year.
Oh yeah.
That one's a little far out there.
Yeah.
But
no, trust me, I would love merch for the show. I get it. But definitely looking forward to all of that.
Sure.
And then for this next one, go and look straight at the camera. Tell everybody how they can find you.
Oof. So, easy way to find me. I'm on majority IG. So, twOn, Swan, TWON_SAN. If you watch anime, you'll get it. As far as Spotify, iTunes, Tidal, I'm on everything. Just look me up, TWON. If you want to go on YouTube and you don't have any accounts on anything else, TWON Offensive Tapes, Volume 1. All my stuff will pop up.
Hell yeah. And don't forget to capitalize the O.
Don't forget to capitalize the O, bro. Like, this is not negotiable. Not negotiable, bro.
And then any other plugs, any other shout outs, anybody else you'd like to put on while you're on here?
Definitely. I will give the biggest and most important shout out to my homie. One of the people that were featured on my mixtape. He was killed just this past year. And I just want to say you're more talented than anybody that I know, to be honest. So I hope everyone gets to understand it and experience it on that tape. Just to let you guys know, that's not my song, that's his song. Okay, it's just on my tape. That's all him.
Oh, yeah.
So, shout out my boy Fortress Oriaki. Much love to you, boy.
Oh, yeah. All right, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and start wrapping this up. I've got one last question, but before we do, I'm going to steal the camera for just a second.
Okay.
As always, y'all, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And one more shout out to the Brothers Apothecary and Ronald Records. Make sure to click the link below and go check them out. Guarantee you're going to like them. And with that being said, the final question. This is entirely up to your interpretation.
Okay.
But what is an album you feel is more on the obscure side? So it's a deep cut. It's one not a lot of people would know, but it's one you think everybody should know.
I mean, I'm going to say that my favorite Kendrick album, which I feel like is the one that's the most slept on, is Untitled Unmastered.
Hell yeah.
I think that one is probably the one that got me to where I am right now, as far as just my artistry and just like seeing what somebody is capable of.
Yeah.
I think that one kind of encapsulates like just how far you can take a situation, how far you can push a boundary.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that should be your favorite Kendrick album, in my opinion.
Hell yeah.
In my opinion.
No, I dig that for sure. That's definitely a quality brag.
Yeah.
All right, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get up on out of here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, thank you for having me. Seriously, I really appreciate you hitting that for this.
Hell yeah. This has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. I'm Jimmy.
I'm twOn.
And we're signing off. Later, y'all.
That's a wrap.
This is not a podcast. This is a show.
Keep jamming.